Hello everybody, I'm Cantonese Cat. Everybody, Cantonese Cat here. Quick update on a few of these fintech stocks. I'm going to go through them real quick. I'm going to try to make shorter videos now. Sofi, one of my favorites, my top 5 holding. Love the trend change from negative to positive. Love the fact that it flipped the 20-month moving average from resistance here back into support. Love the fact that it's trying to challenge the upper Bollinger Band. The only issue is that we're trying to challenge upper Bollinger Band both on the monthly and the weekly. And on the weekly, we're overextended here a little bit. And right now, it looks a little bit toppy. It's hard to say how much further it's going to come back down. But I'm not going to bet against it because it's a very, very powerful bull trend, as indicated by a katana here. We really simply just broke above the Ichimoku cloud here on the weekly on very high volume. And you got a very high volume rejection here from earnings. So are we going down from here? How low can we go? I already made videos kind of talk a little bit about this already. I'm not going to talk too much. I do think that we are at a resistant zone over here. We are potentially finding support here at the angle, and we are potentially getting rejected here at the arc, right? So there are two opposing forces that are happening right now that is trying to pick a direction, and it's hard for me to predict one way or another, and also hard for me to predict absolutely how low it's going to go if it ends up going lower, right? I do think that's important to hold on to the $11 zone, to be precise, maybe 10.95, which is 0.5 FIB level. Very much, of a important confluent zone over here, where the 0.5 FIB level, you have an arc pushing down and you have an angle pushing up. I don't know which direction it's going to go. All I know is that if it goes down, I already gave you like 2 price targets here. If it's going to go down, and I think it did that already, which is why I don't think necessarily has to do that again. If it goes down, I think $10 or a little bit over, like under $10 is going to be a pretty good level. And then after that, you turn about $9, and it's going to be this gap close over here. I just don't know exactly what it's going to do in the short term. I don't care. I'm going to keep holding because the long-term trend is changing. And I just, like, the worst stress there is, I think, is trying to find a re-entry on a bull trend. To me, I think that's the worst stress there is, trying to find re-entry to bull trend. Because I still see that the next target is still going to be maybe around $14, give or take, right? I still see that the next level is going to be 0.618, which is going to be around 13.7. I'm going to round up to 14. It's a very, very important resistance zone, probably because it's a very, very strong support here for the entire year, but it just ended up breaking down underneath of it. So I think we're going to end up graphing up to the 0.618, around like $14. Going to end up hovering around here for quite some time before breaking out above. So I'm not sure whether or not this is that big of a resistance zone. If it is, then I gave you some of the targets, right? But we already back tested, so I don't know. 14 is going to be a natural target. Next up is Affirm. Affirm, I do have a pretty decent position. I would say like my top 10 position, and I've really been paying attention to Affirm for a very long time here. What you can see here too is that 20-month moving average is very much flipped from resistance here to support. Long-term trend is intact. It is simply trying to work out its technicals right now, and it's trying to get through what it needs to get through, but the Tenkan here has been sort of flipped from resistance here to support. You had a bullish cross. Everything's telling you that this is a bull trend on the weekly time frame. There's really nothing to get scared about. Breaking above the Ichimoku currently is flipping the Tenkan from resistance down here to support, and it's also building off of a very powerful katana, so price could go up a lot higher from here. There's another thing I also wanted to show you too, which is the GAN level here that I drew on the weekly. You've kind of broken out of this arc over here. I think it's going to end up coming back to gravity, back to 50. It's going to try to push against 50. You already had challenged 50 once and twice here. So I think the third time, maybe fourth time, you're going to end up going to the next level, which is going to be potentially around $70 around the junction here at the arc and the angle. But ultimately, if you have to look at FIB levels, I think we might be ready to challenge some of the higher FIB levels here. Again, you are at resistance, not just at like 50 psychological level, but also is at a very, very important GAN horizontal zone. and you got rejected here conveniently at the angle as well as at the horizontal here, right? Came back down, back testing the arc here. So far looks like it's holding. So it's probably going to end up grounding the 50. We'll see whether or not we push through this time. And we'll see whether or not we end up challenging the confluence zone here at the arc and the angle here around $70. Ultimately, I think in 2025, I think there's a strong chance it's going to hit the 0.786, which is like $92.56. I think that's probably going to be like the next natural level for it to hit. We'll worry about what happens after that. I don't know which trajectory is going to take. It could end up getting rejected at 50 again, coming back down to like 39.40 before going up again. Although the Ichimoku cloud, that's also potential, right? Push up, reject it, back test the cloud again, and then try and push through the arc and eventually get to $92, $93. That's going to be my target. I don't know the direction that's going to take. I just know that this is now a bull trend. It's breaking above levels, breaking above the weekly cloud, having some taking as support, breaking through an arc over here. So it's probably going to grappling up towards the higher zones up there. Next up is Shopify. Shopify is a very interesting stock here because if you look at the monthly, it's trying to enter the monthly Ichimoku cloud. You see how it kind of got rejected last time. The price went from like $92 all the way down to like 40s, which is absolutely insane, right? That was a pretty insane move that it just made. And right now you're trying to challenge the cloud, but instead of trying to push inside the cloud from up above, you're trying to enter the cloud sideways in a bull flag formation, right? So we'll see how it goes, but I'm not bearish on Shopify. This is also one of my top 10 holdings, by the way. I'm seeing a katana here breaking above, and I'm seeing a little bit of a bull flag kind of formation here above the weekly Ichimoku cloud. I think this time is going to end up breaking inside the monthly Ichimoku cloud here because all it has to do is just to go sideways. And I see this being still pretty potentially bullish stock overall. If I look at the GAN here, I think I drew the GAN here based on the monthly here, 360 and 5. It is also, in addition to trying to push inside the Ichimoku cloud, it is also trying to break through this arc over here too, right? So maybe over the next few months, it's going to have a little bit of volatility here. But once it breaks through the arc, and once it breaks above the cloud, which I think it's going to do, then you're talking about some of the triple digits target up here, which I think if you're able to clear the cloud, then it's probably more or less like clear skies ahead. One thing that's very, very good about this stock that it really seems to be convincingly holding actually no, it's underneath the 0.618. So that's another level too. It needs to break into the 0.618, break into the cloud, break outside the arc, break the cloud up here, and then it's going to hit 0.786. 0.786 is going to be the next level. If it hits 0.786, if it passes, then you're talking about all-time highs, and that could happen sometime in like 2028. That can happen in 2029, sometime around there. I can see this arc being like the next gravitational level if it breaks about the 0.786, right? But it's still got a lot of resistance here. I'm not going to add to it. I'm just going to let it do its thing. Like there's no reason for me to add anymore at this point. It's a bullish formation, nice cup, nice handle. It looks like it wants to break above this horizontal zone over here. So I'm just going to let it do its thing. I'm not worried about Shopify. I'm just going to keep holding. Another one I'm also going to keep holding and not add to is Robinhood. Robinhood is still looking pretty decent. It looks like so far we're still reclaiming the 0.5 over here of the Fibonacci. You have a rising Tenkan here on the monthly. On the weekly, you are also finding support here at both the 0.5 Fibonacci level at the volume shelf over here too, as well as a rising Tenkan. So far you actually find some pretty decent support. In addition, you also got the bonus support band underneath below that could potentially serve as support to kind of push price up higher. There's really nothing bad about Robinhood except the fact that this bull trend, because of how parabolic of a move it made, this bull trend just simply got a little bit, exhausted, a little bit tired, if you will. You've had these like bullish diversions where RSI just kind of gone down here and RSI kind of gone down here. But I think the bearish divergence is kind of playing out already. And I think you're building a little bit of like a hidden bullish divergence here that's going to, end up potentially help push price up higher over time. This bearish divergence from here to here, from there to there is also played out with this candlestick over here, entering a very important support zone. If it breaks down further, there's still 22. and they're still 21. I have a hard time seeing it go down further than 21. I think it's probably going to end up holding support. Maybe it needs to kind of go sideways here a little bit longer for the remainder of 2025 before going up. And I see the 0.618 level here at $32 being hit. I see the 0.786 level over here being hit sometime around 2025 or 2026. I can see that happening. The reason why I see this happening is not because of anything crazy. It's just simply because the monthly RSI is not that overheated. It's like in the 50s. There's a lot more room for it to go. And the bull trend is very, very powerful. The 20-minute moving average is very much erected. The upper Bollinger Band looks like it's wanting to continue to expand up to $32. And I think it's probably going to end up expanding up to 0.786, allowing price to kind of go up along further with it. Nothing for me to get scared. Very bullish structure. Nice cup. Nice handle. Looks like it wants to go higher. But so far on the lower time frame is a little bit exhausted. But on the upper time frame, there's still a lot more room for it to go. So PayPal. PayPal is also another one of those stocks that is looking good, but it's made a pretty decent run from like $50 already to $83. Simply needs to kind of cool off here from one scan horizontal here to the next scan horizontal. Looks like it needs to cool off, right? Why else does it need to cool off? Well, if you look at the Bollinger Band on the 20-month moving average, it has successfully flipped it from resistance here to support, but you're hitting the upper Bollinger Band here, so it's getting a little bit rejected. Just simply needs to cool down. There's no big deal, or nothing really scary about it. Reclaiming both the Tenkan and Kijun, it can even potentially come back down to like the low 70s and backtest it before going up higher. That's entirely possible. Does it have to do that? No, but I can totally see it potentially doing that. Coming back down to hit like the Kijun down here. That's also possible. Or it could also just be finding support here at the weekly Tenkan before going up higher. I think that's fine too. Nothing bearish about this chart. I am DCAing into it very, very slowly. Like when I'm talking about very slowly, I'm talking about like a share a month. I don't care to build a PayPal position that much. I just think it's going to outperform the S&P 500. So I'm going to allocate some money into like higher beta play. But this is kind of like a little bit of my valuation play, if you will. It's just basically breaking a horizontal to another, like horizontal zone over here is broken about, right? Now you're hitting the horizontal zone over here. And it's just basically simply back testing some stuff that has to back test. So I would not be surprised it goes all the way down to like mid 70s or low 70s to kind of back test the zone over here. But it doesn't have to do that because it's building off a katana and it could continue to make a pretty decent, more powerful move on the way up. The Bollinger Band here, very nicely expanding here on the upper Bollinger Band on the weekly too. So yeah, monthly, I still think that it's just the beginning of a bull trend because you can see that the monthly Bollinger Band is just now turning flat here on the 20, and you just now starting to have the expansion of the upper and lower Bollinger Band. So needs patience. I don't think it's going to hit like 3 digits right away. I've been talking about this for months. Like I think that it's going to be bullish for PayPal. I think it's going to hit the 70s by the end of the year, and I think in 2025 it's going to hit the triple digits. It's playing out because of a very, very nice trend change. Anybody who was expecting triple digits by the end of the year, I just wasn't sure about that, and I was very verbal about it. SQ, what is SQ doing? One of the major laggards, but is also catching up because it's also flipping the negative sloping 20-month moving average as resistance to a flat moving average as support, right? So just like all the other stocks that I've shown you is turning more bullish, but it's just a little bit of a laggard, unfortunately, and that's okay. Very nice accumulation zone over here, so potentially giving you even a little bit more chance to buy into it if you believe in the fundamentals. But I just don't. I just hold too many like fintech stocks, so I don't hold it. It is at resistance though, right? You see the theme here. They've made a very nice move on all these stocks, but they're all kind of hitting more or less resistance, right? Arc resistance, again, angle resistance at a 45-degree angle. So I can't say that it's going to be like all moon from here. It needs to work out its technicals just like the rest of the fintech space. But I can see it going higher over time, but it might take another year or two for it to play out if you're looking to like kind of go up to the next level. It needs to work out its technicals. It's not that straightforward. But just like all the other fintechs, is reclaimed the Tenkan here on the monthly, had a bullish cross, right? like PayPal didn't even have a bullish cross, but it was reclaimed with Tengen and Kijin. So Square looking decent, looking better. If it's able to break through all of this, I think the horizontal zone over here is going to be very strong resistance here around $85. If it's able to break through $85, bottom here is around 40 plus 85. So 45 plus 85 is going to be 130. 130 is going to be the target. 120 is going to be bottom of the cloud here, right? So roughly it's going to be the bottom of the cloud here. It might be the target. I don't know if it's going to hit right there, right then and there over in like 2025. I think it's possible, but I'm just not sure about that, right? Anyway, that's SQ. You're talking about Upstart here. Upstart also is looking pretty bullish. Flip the Tengen Kijin here from resistance to support. Talking about the 20-month moving average, very nicely from resistance here to support. There's no doubt that there's a bull trend. Upper bull trend is expanding. Looks like it wants to go higher. The weekly also look, not too overextended. Also looks pretty decent. You're also building off of a katana here through the cloud, right? And simply just come back down to back test the cloud here on low volume. High volume push through the cloud, low volume back test. This is a bullish formation. Probably going to hit the cloud, maybe wick down a little bit here, test the horizontal zone over here at around 45 or so before further bullish continuation. There's nothing bearish about Upstart that I'm really that concerned about. Looking at the GAN here, I think I drew this GAN probably on the weekly. Yep, 180 and 1. It doesn't really give me that great of a market symmetry. Let me change the FIB level here to lock. But it did something that's actually very, very bullish. It reclaimed the 0.382 Fibonacci level. So that's what I'm saying. Come back down, back test the 0.382 Fibonacci level, which is also coincidentally at the top of the weekly Ichimoku cloud, right? You can bounce right there, maybe wick down a little bit, maybe even test the arc here and test the angle here, get everybody all scared into like the low 40s. And then next thing you know, it's going to bounce pretty hard and it's going to go up to the next arc level here, which it got rejected here at 0.5, right? I see this as a pretty bullish formation actually. And let me see if I change the GAN to 0.5 if I'm going to get better market symmetry. You do have a little bit better market symmetry. I mean, you're basically hitting resistance here at this arc, right? So if you break above, it's going to hit the arc up here around the 70s, right? Or just 0.5 here around 70, right? I do see that's because it's holding the 0.382 here very, very well. I actually think that the next level that's going to gravitate to rather than 0.5 is probably going to be the 0.618. I think it's probably going to double its money, perhaps sometime in like 2025, maybe 2026. That's probably where it's going to gravitate to. And that's something that I'm speculating. But I think that it's going to hit the 0.618 here, maybe the bottom of this immature monthly Ichimoku cloud here, somewhere around like triple digits over the next 12 to 18 months is my best guess. Pretty powerful bull trend being built up here. So, don't say it's impossible. I think the upper Bollinger Band is going to continue to go up over time. And then it's going to allow price to kind of hit some of the higher targets. Anyway, I already spent 18 minutes talking about like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fintech stocks. Those are my thoughts. Gave you some targets, gave you what I thought about the trend, gave you some of the potential pullback levels. Hope you enjoyed this video. Have a good one. Bye.